Hello Year 9. Today I'm going to show you how to cook the recipe in your book called Own Choice Risotto. So this is one of the recipes that we give you a bit more freedom and you're allowed to choose some of the ingredients that you want to add rather than us telling you exactly what to put in it. So method number 1, prepare all the ingredients including making the stock. So the recipe says an onion, but I've only got quite a small onion and I had half a red onion in the fridge that needed using up. So I'm going to prepare both of these. So with onions, we chop off the top like that, chop off the root at the bottom and then peel off the brown skin or the red skin on the other onion. That's the tough bit that we don't want to eat. Like that. Clear those bits off your chopping board so they don't get put in your risotto by mistake. So basic chopping of an onion, bridge hold, knife through the bridge, cut the onion in half, put the flat side of the onion on the board, and then perhaps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts that way. Try and keep the onion together, turn it round that way, and then you can come across again about 3 or 4 cuts that time, and that dices the onion very quickly for you. So I'm just going to do the other half quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn it round, come across this way. And then I'm going to do the same for the red onion. There, so I've chopped my white and my red onion up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my pan. Just going to set it to heat up and put my onion straight in like that. And now I'm going to cut up the pepper. So to cut the pepper up, I'm going to use my bridge hold again, and I'm going to cut through the centre of the pepper, so I have 2 halves, and then you can either pull the core out like that and pick out the white bits and the seeds like that, or if you want to, you can use a knife. Always cut down to the board, don't cut into your hand. This is the way that I would do it. I'd cut out the middle, give it a bit of a tap on the worktop, scrape the bits away. There, so now we've got 2 halves of a pepper. So I'm going to slice this pepper up like this. The skin can be quite tough. I've got a sharp knife here. Keep your fingers well out of the way, so I've got my claw grip as I move along the pepper. Turn the pepper round. If you can straighten up all the pieces, you can then come across like this, or you could cut each strip up individually if you find that easier. I'm going to do the same for this piece. So cut the slices, claw grip, keep my fingers out of the way, keep the pieces together, turn them round and come across like this. There, so I've got my pepper. I can add that to the pan. Let's put a bit more heat through it. It's not started to sizzle yet. So when you're making this at home, you could make it in a big saucepan, or you might have a stock pot, but I've made it in a shallow pan today so that you can actually see what's in there and what's happening. So, recipe says, cook the leeks, the mushrooms, the onion, the pancetta, because if you're using that, that will be raw, and the red pepper in oil for 5 minutes. So I'm going to leave that to cook, and I'm going to make my stock. So I've got the jug. Got 2 stock cubes here. I've got chicken stock cubes. You could use any kind of stock cubes that you wanted to, vegetable ones or beef ones. So you unwrap them. Sometimes they're in a little pot with a peel off lid. You can crush them up a little bit and that helps them dissolve. Do the same with the other one. Crush it up a little bit. And then I'm going to add a litre of boiling water to my jug. So if I just tip it slightly, you can see it going in there. Unfortunately, the jugs aren't clear like the ones at school. I've got a litre in there now. I'm just going to use the spatula, save on washing up, give it a gentle stir to help the stock cubes to dissolve. Otherwise they'll be at the bottom of the jug when you tip your liquid in, and you won't get all the flavours to come out of the stock cube. So you should be able to hear my pepper and onions are really sizzling away now. I'm going to turn it down a little bit and carry on cooking those for another 4 minutes or so. Okay, so these have been cooking for 5 minutes now, and you can see that the onion is beginning to go translucent, so we know it's ready to receive the next ingredient, which on your recipe is the rice. So I've got 200 grams of risotto rice measured out there. So tip it in the pan, and you want to give it just a very gentle stir, just to make sure that all the rice gets coated in the lovely oil and juices that are in your pan. And then you're going to cook that just for a minute, like that. And then when the minute's up, I'm going to start adding the stock. Okay, so we're ready to start adding the stock now. You can either pour it from the jug, or you can use a ladle if you're a bit worried about it spilling. And the recipe says gradually add the stock in small amounts, stirring until each addition has been absorbed. I'm going to put a couple of ladlefuls in. You can hear it hissing and spitting a bit. Give it a gentle stir. And I'm going to cook this now until that first amount of stock has been absorbed and the rice grains have begun to swell up. There you can see that the stock I put in has all been absorbed into the rice now as the rice grains are swelling up. So now I'm going to continue putting 1 or 2 ladles in and waiting for it to be absorbed. If you watch a chef on the television, they'd probably just put 1 ladle in at a time and be quite precise about it, and perhaps your parents cook like that as well, but in school we'd encourage you to put a little bit more in each time, so you can leave it and crack on with your washing up or your tidying up or whatever else needs doing while it's cooking. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that, and when I get to the last addition I'll come back to you. While my risotto's been cooking, I've been using my time to get the rest of the ingredients ready. So I've grated 50 grams of Parmesan cheese. I've used the fine grater rather than the big holes that we normally use, so I prefer that for Parmesan. I've cut up some ham that we had in the fridge into chunks, so that's going to be my cold cooked meat because I didn't put any pancetta in. And I've also got ready the lemon juice that we're going to add right at the end. Now I didn't have a fresh lemon today, but I did have some fresh lemon in the freezer, so I've just defrosted an ice cube of fresh lemon, so I've got my fresh lemon juice ready there. So this is cooking down nicely now, almost ready to put the last amount of stock in and the rest of the ingredients. Right, so my risotto is nearly done now. I'm just about to add the last amount of stock. Just give the jug a stir and make sure you haven't got any of the stock cube left in the bottom of the jug. So that's the rest of the stock gone in now. We're also going to add all the other ingredients. So I've got frozen peas here, so they're going to go in then. I'm going to put my lemon juice in. I'm going to put my chopped ham in. And my Parmesan. I might want to just save a little bit of your cheese to sprinkle on the top when you serve your meal, so I'm just going to leave a little bit on the board there. You can sprinkle that over the top later on. So just very gently stir now, just bring in from the edges into the middle, and then you won't spill it all over the edge of your cooker. You don't have to be cleaning up for too long when you finish cooking this. So once everything's stirred in together, just going to leave it now for the last of that stock to be absorbed, and then we'll be ready to serve up. While that's just finishing off cooking, I'm going to add some ground black pepper to the risotto. I'm not going to put any salt in because the stock cubes will have had quite a lot of salt in already. You don't want to put too much salt in, but you can put as much black pepper in as you want. You could add some herbs, either some mixed dried herbs or some fresh herbs if you've got some from the supermarket or anything growing out in your garden. It's completely up to you. Okay, so my risotto's finished now. I don't like to cook it too dry because we always eat risotto with crusty bread and you want some juices to mop up. And also, if you're not going to eat it straight away, it will continue to absorb the liquid, so don't cook it until it's really dry, otherwise by the time you eat it, it won't be very nice. Well, I hope to see some pictures of your own risottos, and send us in your ideas for different kinds of ingredients that you've used in your house, and enjoy. Bon appetit!